Wakey wakey after a very intense and exhausting conference week here after Token2049 Dubai, which to my surprise attracted a lot more people than I thought. And overall, it's been very great to reconnect with familiar faces. We have Spade here, also Mitya, founder of Drop Protocol, Nina, of course, who's also a contributor at Cosmos, and then our good friends at the Coin Bureau, Nick and Guy, and also Lucy, whom we met. She works at OSL based out of Hong Kong, and of course, Crypto Chuck here from Cosmoverse and also Stick and Relax. So it's good to always reconnect with familiar faces, but also then to meet new people and to see crypto is not dead. We are still a growing industry, even though the past 3 years have been very volatile, very shaky to say the least. But overall, I'm very, very bullish on crypto, on Cosmos. I still truly and fundamentally believe in the Cosmos thesis, and that's what we're mainly focused here on this channel. But to be very honest, the most talked about ecosystem was not Cosmos. In fact, by far not Cosmos. It was actually Sui, and then I would say also Solana was very hot. But Sui really was the shining star this year at Token. Also, a lot of the conversations that happened during all these side events and private meetings, I felt like we're more around generating protocol revenue, right? It's like we really need fee generating applications. And I think that right now, besides Hyperliquid, there's not really anything that is coming close to that. So there's still huge upside. But at Token, a lot of the conversations were around that. Also a big trend, which is that a lot of projects, even the gentleman you see here in this picture, Spade, we did an interview here as well, that are pivoting more towards Bitcoin finance. So Neutron is a great example that is now pivoting more towards BTC-Fi or B-Fi, how they just called it here this week. And with their upcoming launch of MaxBTC, but I'll share more about that in a second. And also, I think generally, if you attend a large conference like Token2049, Dubai or Singapore, or whichever other conference at that scale, a lot more people are now focused more on planning one-to-one meetings, right? So the shisha bar that I usually go to and work from a lot as well during the week was just full with crypto meetings. Like there was just a lot of private meetings, groups of 3-4 people from 2 or 3 companies max that were just scheduling one meeting after the other. And I think this is definitely a lot more effective during those side events around Token, especially. You see a lot of dilution of attention. So people just come for 1 hour, they maybe want to speak to one person or listen to one talk, and then they bounce and go off to the next thing. So it can be there's a very high fluctuation versus if you come and you schedule one-to-ones, then it's a lot more effective and you're also not wasting too much time on logistics and checking in the venue, finding the conference room, all these kind of things. And finally, Cosmos really was underrepresented, same as last year and the year before, which is sad. And I think we now have new leadership that is really trying to fix that. They only took over 3 or 4 months ago. But I think, after they shipped the initial foundation of what they want to build with the Cosmos Hub Atom and the Cosmos ecosystem, then hopefully we're going to see them a lot more represented in those large scale events. So that was that. We did our Stakecito brunch with Babylon together. That was very cool. Our good friend Belinda from Sharding Capital, she also did a great event. Shard Dubai Staking Summit was a fantastic event as well. For me, the biggest highlight, however, was the Royal Night with Legends at the Royal Atlantis. Absolute insane venue. I've never been to a place like that. That was just the best event. Also got to meet Ran there from Crypto Banter. Big shout out. Fefe, Ran, and Sheldon was there, and many other people. So that was good. And now over to Cosmos news. So there's a lot that's been cooking during the week, during the Token2049 week. And the ICL team was not chilling, was not relaxing. They were hustling, they were grinding, they were working hard. One of the main things that was announced during last week was basically Shane, the founder of Stargaze, Shane's idea to migrate Stargaze onto the Cosmos Hub following the Stride migration, which was a coordinated migration in alignment with ICL. Stride also received investment from the Interchain Foundation, but Stargaze was a very organic kind of deal or idea that Shane, the founder of Saga, just threw out there. And we're now waiting for the blog post to follow on how exactly Shane envisions that, because there is also a planned migration proposal to convert STARS tokens into Atom. And we're going to see how exactly that looks like. But very good to see. Mark, Barry, the ICL team, and now also Stride and other teams are on a mission to make Cosmos and Atom great again. They're doing this by accelerating growth, consolidating chains, very, very important point here, and also bringing liquidity and making the hub the best place to deploy everywhere apps, bringing liquidity mainly through Stride, the new DEX that was just announced, but also maybe through other DeFi primitives and applications and concepts. Consolidating chains, meaning a lot of the L1s that do not have sustainable economics, that do not have clear product market fit, at least not at larger scale, that they would kind of sunset their chain and just migrate over to the Cosmos Hub, which currently only has permissionless CosmWasm as their smart contract framework. But eventually they will deploy a permissionless virtual machine, most likely the Ethereum virtual machine, the EVM, which also means we can attract Solidity builders onto the Cosmos Hub. In combination with that, we also have a new upgrade of the Cosmos SDK, the most battle-tested or one of the most battle-tested frameworks to build your own chain and really to customize your application, your app chain to one specific use case. And that's what we've been seeing this trend over the past years, to be honest, with Babylon optimizing their stack for Bitcoin staking, with Ondo optimizing their stack for RWA, tokenization of assets, Noble as well, and a lot more large chains like Kronos, for example. Also, of course, the Cosmos Hub, Celestia, that's also a full-on Cosmos SDK blockchain, and many, many more. There's hundreds of more that are in the pipeline. Many of them are just choosing the stack they're building on it, and they're not even like publicly bragging about it or kind of part of the core Cosmos community. And that's fine, right? That's the whole point of Cosmos, is this true internet of sovereign blockchains, right? Sovereignty really is the key. But now with new ICL leadership, the Cosmos ecosystem, we're also seeing the kind of next chapter, which is also, consolidation, alignment, and cohesion and unification. So yeah, we're at a point now where we're also kind of uniting sovereign blockchains and really have an aligned, cohesive network of those app chains, because until now it's been rather fragmented, which also slowed down the kind of adoption rate. But so far so good. I think the Cosmos SDK still one of the most battle-tested frameworks out there. So that is one thing. The ICL Interchain Labs team has taken over the Cosmos SDK development, IBC development, Comet BFT development, but also Cosmos Hub development. And with it, they just launched IBC Eureka, which is the implementation of IBC v2 that is focused on the Cosmos Hub, which means the Cosmos Hub chain acts as a router chain for IBC transactions. And one of the core chains to make use of that and to bring that to market in a similar fashion how Osmosis back in 2021 took IBC v1 to market is Stride. So Stride will be deployed natively on the Cosmos Hub as the native DEX. And this is scheduled to go live sometime in June, July. But yeah, sometime in summer. And they will also have a revenue share. So the STRD token is not going away. Instead, there will be a revenue share between STRD and also Atom. And initially, there was a 80-20 kind of distribution, 80% going to Stride, 20% going to Atom. But now it looks like there's more clarification from Robo, who has been drafting up a lot of the economics for that. And he kind of clarified that it's more looking like this, right? Where it's 10 to 20% going to Stride, 20% going to Atom, and 60 to 70% a mixture of both, in which the fees generated will also contribute to the kind of growth of Atom, which means encouraging to attract new Eureka chains, which would benefit Atom in the longer term, that would deploy the liquidity on the hub. Then also build a treasury of Atom and other assets to LP on the Cosmos Hub, and to launch targeted incentive campaigns for hub users, which is very, very good to see. Also, Riley, the co-founder of Stride, clarifying that one of their core kind of magic sauces for Stride will be hooks. Sounds a bit like the concept of intents, which was a big term around a year ago. But Riley saying that it is basically simple when, for example, you want to create a hook as a trader, you can just say, look, yo, when price hits $1.20, just sell, or I want to DCA into Atom over the next week, then there will just be automation in the background. So they want to really simplify the UX UI for everyone on Stride DEX. And I think if there's one team that is really, really good with slick, clean UX and UI, then it's the Stride team. If you just take a look at their liquid staking protocol, it's very, very clean, very, very smooth. And I think if they can do the same for Stride DEX, then it will be a killer product. So excited for that, and we'll keep you posted. Now, we also have, in parallel, more chains opting in for IBC Eureka that is now live. Coreum, one of the leaders for RWA tokenization, built by the team that has built Sologenic, the largest DEX on the XRP ledger. They're very closely in touch and aligned with the Ripple team as well. And Coreum has now also just integrated IBC Eureka, which is good to see. So Coreum now also connects to Ethereum. JP, founder of Thorchain, also said that v3.6 of Thorchain will allow IBC deposits. So IBC, at least deposits, are coming to Thorchain. It's been very long time in the making, but that is finally coming, and that is good to see, even though obviously Thorchain had this huge incident with their lending protocol that killed a lot of momentum and traction. But let's see if they can recover from that and if they are now more Cosmos aligned. Then we also have the big one, the big daddy, which to us first, when I heard about IBC Eureka and the Stride Swap announcement, I was a little bit, scared that we'll see another Hub Wars 2.0 evolving and brewing up. But it looks like the opposite is happening, and Osmosis embraces Eureka. Remember, Eureka means that the Cosmos Hub acts as a router chain, which accrues value for Atom and routes transactions through IBC v2 through the Cosmos Hub and Atom in a similar way how the Axelar chain generates revenue or is positioned as a router chain for their interoperability protocol, and also Wormhole, right? So they're now proposing that the Cosmos Hub would be the third canonical bridge alongside Axelar and Wormhole on Osmosis, and I think that would be very, very cool. It aligns Atom and Osmo. That is something we definitely need. We also have Sunny, who came out after the Stride Swap announcement saying that Osmosis remains the DEX for Cosmos and beyond, clarifying that Polaris does not mean they're ditching Cosmos, even though, we still have to wait and see where Polaris is going. But they are now very Bitcoin aligned, Bitmosis, and that still, at least as per Sunny, doesn't mean that they're kind of abandoning Cosmos. Instead, they want to strengthen their position as the main DEX for Cosmos, but also branch out into other ecosystems and assets with Bitcoin and also the Solana ecosystem. So that's good to see. Also, Mac has commented here, this is bullish, your team is incredible. My suggestion is to collaborate, not compete. Cosmos has tried internal competition for years, and that did not work out well. But this is true. The pie is so much bigger for Osmosis, for Cosmos. Please grow with it, grow with us. So that's good to see. Mark and Sunny seemingly to be aligned. I also think Sunny is based in New York. At least he's been living there for the past years. So are Mark, Barry, ICL, Stride, Riley, all of these guys. So I think it would be cool if they were all, catching up every now and then to discuss those ideas and have meetings to be on the same page at all times, because that's been a big factor, I guess, over the past years, that there was just this misalignment. Mark also wrote a very nice message in the Atomoji community chat, or Atom community chat, basically saying that, a lot of the concerns are driven by Gravity DEX PTSD, which we also covered here. There was also my intuitive reaction. It's like, man, I'm still traumatized from that. Remember, Gravity DEX in 2021 was supposed to be the DEX, native DEX for the Cosmos Hub. It actually launched, but then they decided at Cosmos Lisbon, actually, they decided to take Gravity DEX off the hub and turn it into Crescent, which eventually also sunset. I still believe Crescent was a great product from a UX UI, but that just didn't gain enough traction in Steam. Also, post UST and Terra collapse, that was very, very hard to recover from. But Max saying the situation now is different. There is now a wider Hub DeFi ecosystem, and he sees Osmosis succeeding, but also Stride succeeding, and that there's still a lot of room for Cosmos to grow. They're committed to the best teams succeeding. Sunny knows that he is an ally to him, so that's also good to see. And then the last sentence, just goosebumps if you're a cosmonaut, because this never happened before. Band together, grow some Chester, and grow the goddamn ecosystem. I'm fully willing to commit myself to positive sum games. We're fighting much larger forces. We can do it. That's a very nice mentality to get into this, and I think if they really can pull this off and get Osmosis aligned with Eureka, Stride as well, Babylon, Lombard, you name it, all the other big chains in Cosmos, then I think we are in for a very, very nice Cosmos season eventually. Osmosis Twitter account also tweeting Eureka. There are 4 proposals that are now live to integrate Cosmos Eureka assets. So if you are an Osmo holder, Osmo staker, Osmo user, or Atom holder, Atom user, then check out those proposals. They just went live on Osmosis to integrate IBC Eureka. Now, if you are a content creator, if you're active on social media, if you want to earn some money on the side just by creating content, if you are solid at making videos, writing, any type of content, right, any type of platform, then please participate in our Create to Earn campaign with Cito Earn. I think it's a great way to just make some money on the side and get compensated or incentivized to create quality content. We do have some simple measures to make sure we're not getting flooded by bots. So there's also a explanation on how you can participate and what the requirements are, but then you can win Atom or USDC. So participate there, create content around IBC Eureka. Now, some more updates from Osmosis. They seem to be in war mode and really pushing hard on all ends when it comes to UX, UI, integrations, interoperability, liquidity, trading experience, DeFi primitives, all the good stuff. And one of their major milestone achievements in recent days was to cross $1 billion in trading volumes for Bitcoin on Osmosis. So Bitmosis is in full swing. I think it definitely makes sense for Osmosis to double down on that because there's clear demand, there's clear user activity, and finally we're seeing not only one asset, but actually multiple assets, also Noble USDC, that are filling the void for UST that Terra left in 2022. Also, big announcement, StreamSwap, in my opinion, the best and most underrated product in Cosmos. StreamSwap is the best way to launch your token if you are community aligned. And StreamSwap is now fully permissionless on Osmosis, and you can create your own stream or launch your own token by depositing 300 Osmo. And if you close the stream or exit, then there is a 4.2% fee in the native token that you are basically selling. So that's the fee structure, very straightforward, very chill. And Osmosis is now fully integrating StreamSwap permissionlessly on the Osmosis chain. Another milestone, 5 months in a row with $100 million plus in Bitcoin trading volume on Osmosis. That really shows Bitmosis is real and is here. Now, another contender in the DeFi field that went through a huge transition recently is Neutron, that we've been covering here since 2022, ever since it was basically announced. And they used to be hub secured, which means they were the first users of Cosmos Hub shared security, meaning that the Atom validator set also secured Neutron. But with the recent Mercury upgrade, Neutron spun out into its own layer 1 blockchain. So that means a different role for the NTRN token, of course, when it comes to kind of economic value accrual, all these kind of things. But also strategically, Neutron is focused much more now on Bitcoin as well and DeFi, right? So a lot of primitives, DeFi primitives are already there on Neutron. They have Astroport, they have Mass Protocol, they have Drop Protocol, their own liquid staking provider there, right? And they also have super vaults, which are automated market makers, basically. I guess similarly how mega vaults work on Dydx, but for a kind of, in a different context, because for Dydx it's obviously around perps trading, but here it's for their entire DeFi platform. And I think that Neutron is definitely a very, very interesting project to keep an eye on. They went through some iterations, but they have a well-established ecosystem on their own. A lot of native DeFi primitives, like I said, very, very important. And overall, I think Neutron is cooking very, very hard with MaxBTC. That is also, a new product that's cooking right now. And I actually just spoke about this with Spade, with Avril for nearly an hour. Please excuse the bad lighting. We were supposed to do this a bit early in the evening, but then it was just a very busy day with events. We're just running around, and after this also went together to another event. But what matters is the sound, and the audio is very good, so just listen to it, and you get all the latest alpha and exclusive alpha that I think Spade has never shared before publicly with the community. So we also talk about kind of the coexistence of Neutron and Cosmos and Atom, and his views around Atom nowadays with this vibe shift and new leadership. Also, we talked about Stridex, his thoughts on that. So definitely something for you to listen in if you are a cosmonaut and if you are a Neutron community member. Now, here's a tweet, as I mentioned earlier, from Shane, founder of Stargaze, proposing a new direction for Stargaze, which is to migrate Stargaze to the Cosmos Hub and convert stars to Atom. True alignment is a win-win, and he's working on a Hub firm post that he'll share very, very soon. So this might come this week. I'll definitely keep you posted once the post is up, and then invite you to also share your views and feedback. It will definitely be interesting what deal he has in mind and how to resolve the conversion for stars into Atom by using Hub community pool funds or minting new Atom, or proposing an investment by ICF in a similar way how they did it with Stride, even though with Stride there was no buyout, there was just an investment. But excited to see what Shane is proposing, and if you have ideas, thoughts, then please leave them below this video in the comments. But it's good to see the homecoming of bad kids that are already denominated in Atom since almost a year, I think, or half a year. Or actually longer than that. I think they announced it in Istanbul 2023 at Cosmoverse. But this is good to see. the bad kits are also widely used in interchain labs, right? So Barry, Nico, which is the CMO, Guillermo, who is the IBC team lead at ICL, Vlad as well, Susan as well, David, they're all part of ICL and they are all bad kits. Ollie as well, everyone almost. So that's good to see. Also, Mag, who just actually changed his bad kit and revealed his true identity. Yeah, so that's Mag and bad kits, and would be good to see bad kits coming home to the Cosmos Hub natively. Now, some quick Airdrop updates before we get into some drama. Number one, Crypto Dungeon, one of the best builders in Cosmos, most dedicated, most passionate. I truly, truly appreciate their hustle and grind. I've been meeting them around a year and a half ago or something, even before last year's Cosmos Dubai. So if you are a gamer, then I definitely invite you to check out their newly launched game. They have more to come. They also have their Cosmic Quest NFTs on Stargaze that you can still mint right here on Stargaze, the first edition of Cosmic Quest. Crypto Dungeon is also Atom aligned. They are Cosmos Hub secured through partial set security, and they also have their own token, the DGN, the Dungeon token, that is also tradable on Osmosis. So check out Crypto Dungeon, give them a follow on Twitter as well, and play their game if you are a gamer and interested in that. Next, we also have the Astonic protocol airdrop ATC that is now claimable for Stars stakers and PLQ stakers. Check that out as well. And finally, quick news, we have Berachain. The Boyko campaign is ending today, or basically Boyko vaults are winding down, the pre-launch vaults, which means your rewards will also be claimable. If you deposited into Boyko, then you can now check your rewards and you will get them. I think today is when the distribution happens. So check out Boyko. Also, Hillary, founder of BitcoinOS, saying that she has a surprise for bad kids tomorrow. So that tweet is from yesterday, which means for today. Still alert, stay bad. BitcoinOS is also a new project that is not built on a Cosmos SDK, but Hillary is a true cosmonaut, as you can see by her profile picture. And yeah, a good friend of mine as well. Been hanging out with her last year. Unfortunately, not this year, but last year she also invited me to a fantastic dinner, one of the best dinners I ever had in my life. So definitely good to see. I'm not an investor into BitcoinOS, at least as of now. Maybe that changes in the future. And we do not have any kind of relationships, economic relationships, at least with them as for now, which also might change in the future. But BitcoinOS, definitely a project to watch if you are interested in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Lastly, the two problem childs, I would say. Number one, Movement Labs, Rushi, who I got to meet as a very humble young developer, very ambitious. You know, he sat here on my balcony. We did this interview in late 2023, a very long time ago. And back then I felt like Rushi has this kind of main character material, main character vibe, because he's just very, very fast, very smart, very ambitious. But it seems that he just messed up big time, and that, yeah, he's involved in a huge scandal around Movement. Which would be very, very sad, of course. And, you know, that's the thing in crypto, like you think you kind of know people, you think they are trustworthy, you think anything, right? But then it turns out that they are probably involved into things that they should not have done, or at least should have communicated a lot more transparently. So it seems like Rushi, we don't know all the facts as of now, as far as I understand, but I still have to catch up on all the latest on that story. But anyways, long story short, Rushi most likely involved in a huge scandal around Movement, which caused a huge dump in price and sell-off of like 66 million Move tokens shortly after listing. Second, Rushi is now suspended from Movement Labs as they have this ongoing investigation, which is conducted by Groom Lake. So we'll see what comes out of that. Then we have MoveDrop, which has been teased forever now, and they said April, in late April. Well, now it's already May and there's still no MoveDrop. So that one is also very, very disappointing. And the way they just communicated is very, very, yeah, very, very sad to see, because they were in such a good position. To be honest, I really don't understand how they could mess it up, and how Rushi could get into this position, because all he had to do was just continue building, continue doing whatever he did before. But yeah, I guess age is also another thing. Rushi's just 21 years of age or something like that. So super young guy. And of course, if you probably see, you know, that with one click you can realize $50-60 million at this age, then I guess that's probably very tempting. I don't know, I've never been in this position, but it seems like that's what it was. But yeah, we'll have to see what comes out of this story. This is just what I know and what I've been following on socials, but definitely would be very, very disappointing to see if Rushi really was behind that deal. One of the replacements could be Thorchain to take over. He's been a founding member of Movement and he's been there since September of 2023. So he knows the project in and out. And even he expressed that he was very disappointed by leadership and also by the delay of the Movement airdrop, the move drop. So maybe he will take it over. I think that would actually be very, very cool from what I've seen about him on socials. But yeah, it really shows again that you cannot really judge a project after 6 months of their listing. Let's wait and see how the project is doing 3 years in, 4 years in, one full cycle, right? If all the early team members and contributors pre-TGE, if they made life-changing money with their team allocations, they will most likely leave. So there will be naturally a redistribution of the core team. Is the leadership still aligned? Are they still on the same page? Do they still have the shared vision that they had initially, or is that evolving, or is there misalignment? Because that eventually will kill a project. And we're seeing this over and over. We're seeing it with Ethereum right now. We saw it with Cosmos over the past 2 years. Now, at least there is new leadership. So they managed to turn it around. And then, of course, the second problem child, I would say, is Mantra. The Mantra price has not recovered at all. It's hovering at around 40 cents right now. But yeah, JP, fan of Mantra, was just at Token2049. I didn't get to meet him, but he was on a panel with Henry at the main event, which I also did not attend. But yeah, he's just sharing some updates. And number one is governance improvements, which means they're sounds like winding down the association validators and will get more external validators to join the network, community validators, or just their partners. Also, they will refine their tokenomics dashboard. Then also JP, who has burned his 150 million allocation of tokens, so they are gone from total supply. They also highlight that. Then they also just launched the Ohmstead testnet, which is an EVM testnet that is currently in alpha, and that are still working with major exchanges to improve market stability. But overall, I think we still have not seen a full post-mortem report, which is disappointing. At least I've not seen it, but if you have it, then please share it under this video. But yeah, that's just what it is. Overall, crypto, we just have to expect craziness and madness and insane volatility. That's just what we sign up for here. And that's just what it is. Anyways, I'll keep you posted on any future updates. In the meantime, check out the Osmosis proposal. If you're an Osmo holder, then this might be highly, highly relevant to you. Participate with create to earn campaigns on Cito Earn. You can also, by the way, find that on our website. The Cito.zone is our website. And you can see Cito Earn right here. We also publish stuff right there. So you can see that. And it's very clean, very intuitive to use. And finally, also go check out the interview I did with Spade here at the Cito HQ. Again, sorry for the bad lighting, but that's just been a very busy day, so we didn't get to properly set everything up. But yeah, that's it. I hope you have a great week ahead, and I'll see you very soon here on CryptoCito and the Cito Zone. Until then, stay safe and be good.